What's good, y'all? It's Will here from PSYCHONAUT Visions, signing back in once again, coming at you with another video today. Now, kind of got a lot of stuff I want to talk about today. First things first, if you have or if you haven't watched my recent videos, well, the big theme is basically just been opening up to my parents, really trying to talk to them and be open and honest with them about some of the things that I've been through over the last few years. Just having a more personal, down-to-earth conversation with them. And the reason I'm kind of breathing heavily, I just went for a run, so yeah, it's not like I'm out here dying or out of shape to that extent. But basically, you know, the past like couple of months, and really once I started my second book, which was back in December, you know, I made it my goal to basically use that as an outlet to really plan and try and ultimately execute the goal of, you know, being myself and being authentic towards my parents and really opening up towards them. And it's something that I haven't done for the last few years of my life. I haven't really spoken to them on a really deep level, you know, and really be honest about my life and not only the direction it's going, but where I'm at and what I had been through, right? And just last Wednesday, you know, it's interesting because it's weird how this whole synchronicity things happen. I was out with a friend on Wednesday night, and in the sky I noticed like this shooting star type of thing. It appeared in the sky for a moment, and then I noticed it decline for a split second at a rapid rate, and then it just disappeared. You know, at first I was like, all right, whatever, I don't really know what that could have been, but you know, it's kind of in one ear out the other. You just move on quickly. But when I made it back home, my mom said she saw like the exact same thing after I had seen it. Like right when I got home, she said she just saw it. So it was like, the depiction she gave of it was eerily similar in the sense that it was like a shooting star that had appeared and then disappeared very quickly. And another thing that I noticed when I got home was that my mom, who loves to like color and draw and stuff, was coloring this like tracing of a butterfly. And the entire theme of my life the past month or so has been metamorphosis. And what that is transforming from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And that's obviously in a figurative sense, but for me, it's like becoming a man in that regard and really showing my parents that like, oh, I am becoming the butterfly. I am becoming free. I'm immersing myself in this world and my real self, my true self. I'm not trying to hide, you know. And it's so interesting how all that synchronicity just happened at that exact time, that exact night, which was the night before I ended up talking to my parents. And a lot of what I talked about centered around the book that I wrote last year, because that in itself is, you know, a lot of what I had thought, you know, that's a big part of my journey was really being personal through that story and like telling my truth and not holding back. And I just wanted to show them that, like, you know what, I have been working on something. I've been working on this project that makes me feel ambitious, that I'm working towards something. And also I told them a little bit about my struggles sexually, my porn addiction, and how that's caused some confusion and, you know, problems and just a lot of turmoil in that regard that I faced, you know. But I didn't tell my parents everything. I would have been there all day, you know. It's like, where would I begin? But I wanted to start with something, and I started with talking to them about my book and a lot of the stuff that I've been through, you know, and just kind of explaining that, like, sometimes I can have a crazy mind. Like, I'm into philosophy and questioning existence, and I've had some pretty wild experiences on psychedelics, and, you know, my parents were very accepting of me for it, and I expected them to be. But for me, I'm always someone that struggles to really open up, and it may not seem like it on camera, but when I'm actually in the presence of another person, it's like, it's hard for me to be myself. Like, I'm always trying to be that chameleon, fit in with other people's personalities and blend in, you know. But when I'm by myself, or when I'm recording a video on YouTube, if I'm writing, I can stand out. I don't feel like I have to fit in, you know. I can really just be myself. And that's what I'm trying to do in my outer world as well, around other people, you know. But I think the funny thing is, like, talking to my parents has been something I've been trying to do for a while, and in a way it's like its own sort of demon, its own entity that I must confront. But even if I slay that dragon, even if I manage to conquer that demon, it doesn't mean it's dead. It doesn't mean it's gone. it will take form, it will take shape, it will take shape in the form of something else. I mean, that's just the way life goes. You know, you overcome something in this life, that doesn't mean you're immune afterwards. Problems, darkness, chaos, all of that stuff, fear, it will all take shape in the form of something else. And speaking about my sex life and whatnot, there's one thing that I haven't really been 100% honest about. And for one, before I go into detail, I've never been in a relationship. I've never had like active, consistent sex. So obviously, with that being the case, there's a level of curiosity, a level of desire, lust that is present, and it can be difficult to overcome. And over the past year, like, I've been I kind of ceded to the temptation of a hookup a few times with a person, and it's funny because, like, I did it assuming, and by the way, it's like, it was with one person, I can't lie, man, it was like it was a man. And it's hard for me to say that shit. And it's funny because, first of all, none of them gave me any arousal whatsoever. The reason I did that, the reason I went ahead and actually gave into those temptations, is because my consumption of pornographic content. See, I watched that and I witnessed that, and I think it correlates with my actual desires, when in reality, it doesn't at all. All it is a dopamine rush. I'm seeking some type of higher dopamine rush. I've talked about it before, but with porn, I started out watching, straight porn, just like I've always had a desire towards women. But as time goes on, I keep watching, and it's like, oh, this doesn't satisfy me anymore. So then I watch something like gay porn, and I've talked about that before, how it leads into even weirder things. Not even weirder, just things that you wouldn't expect yourself to ever be indulging in. So like transsexual pornography and things of that nature, right? And with that, it's like, oh, the higher dopamine rush, the more I'll consider like a submissive role in sex. And I'm just trying to be as honest as I can here. Like, I'm not actually interested in these things, but because I'm seeking that dopamine rush through porn, it tricks my brain to think I actually am, that I actually want that stuff. And I'm not going to sit up here and deny that there's some type of curiosity that I could be into, I could be bi or something like that. I'm not counting that out, but I'm just saying, like, porn and sex really don't quite correlate as much as they might seem like they do. Like, they really don't, man. And to be able to talk about this, like, it might be a lot, and to me it's a lot, but I really want to get my true self out there, and it's like whenever I do cede to the temptation of a hookup, part of it's out of curiosity, but when I know that I'm not going to be aroused whatsoever, it's like this monster that calls. The phone rings, it calls, and the question is whether or not I will answer. Will I pick up the phone? And last night, man, I did, and I can't lie about that. Like, I really did, and I gave into that temptation. I really did. And it's just one of those things that left me in a speechless state for quite some time. Just like afterwards, I went to downtown of my hometown, which was vacant of really anybody at the time. And I just sat there in my car for like 30 to 40 minutes just thinking about life and why am I doing this? Why haven't I learned? What am I doing with my life? And things like that. And it's hard because all this stuff that I'm saying right now is a lot of stuff that I really wouldn't want to tell people, and it's, even though it's still not easy, it's a lot easier when it's not as direct. When I'm doing it in front of the camera, it feels like I can really be authentic, and it's just, it's tough. But now that I have conquered one demon, it's become apparent that there's another riddle in my life that I've yet to solve. That being my sex life, trying to really get closure and find a grasp of it. If there's one silver lining, at least I'm getting more of an idea of my own desires and what sex is and intimacy is, because I'm still learning. I'm never going to stop learning. But in this life, man, I really want to experience what true love is like, what it really feels like. And it's like I just haven't put myself in a position where I can really meet new people and really get myself out there. Like the last time that I had any type of connection with a woman other than my mom was in high school, and now I'm 4 years removed from high school. And it's just, it's a lot. I think it's a reason, there's a reason behind that. There's a lot that I've had to learn. I've had to kind of go about this process and this journey alone, and go on my own self actualization period and realizations and all these epiphanies about myself and my life and whatnot before I can really immerse myself into any sort of relationship. But it's just a whirlwind of confusion, and it's something that I'm really hoping to figure out now that I've conquered one of my fears and so-called demons. Like, again, there's that next riddle I have to solve. It takes shape in the form of something else, and it's up to me to try and really pinpoint, you know, my real motives and why I'm doing these things, and not be so hard on myself, obviously, but understand that I can be better, I can do better, I deserve better, you know, and that's sort of what's next for me. But yeah, I hope this wasn't too much for anyone watching. I know it's a very taboo subject, that being sex and things like that, but I don't want to have to feel like I gotta hide. I don't want to have these boundaries on what I can talk about. If there's something I'm really going through, I want to open up and be genuine about it, you know. And this is a part of my life, an aspect of my life that's very confusing and that I'm still trying to figure out. But yeah, you know, I hope you guys took something from this video, enjoyed, and understand that no matter what you're going through, you're not alone. You're really not. But thank you guys so much for watching. I think I'm going to close it here, so feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And Will from PSYCHONAUT Visions, signing out.